Well, hello and welcome to part 7 of our exploration of the Vue 3 JavaScript framework and its use in building web forms. We've got a web form. It takes data, it submits data, and it validates data. Well, it validates some data. We have to finish validating data. And you notice these red boxes? That's all about data validation. It's saying that we've got invalid data in those boxes. Except we haven't entered anything yet. We're telling it's invalid before you've done anything. So let's deal with that first. Let's make sure that we're only doing things telling that it's invalid after they put in tried to put in data. So here's the offending class. We'll just style sheet, and there we are. Now it's gone. Now we're not telling them they're wrong before they've done anything, but now we're not telling them they're wrong after they've done anything either. So we're going to put in a warning. So anytime we have got someone, we've got a class here now that we're going to be applying to every field in our form here. It's called warning. So how are we going to apply that to our field? Well, let's take the first event here, and the first required one. Now, we're going to do focusin. That's a good event to start with. And we'll say event dot target and class list dot add. Now what this will do is it will add the warning to this field after we've entered it. And there we are, it works. So we can continue with this in two ways. We can put this focusin on every single input and select tag there is, or we can use what's called event bubbling, a very useful JavaScript tool where if an event happens on a tag and there's nothing there to catch it, it goes up to the parent, in this case the field set, and says, do you want to do anything with this event? And then it goes to the form and says, do you want to do anything with this event? And then it goes to the next one, and it keeps going up all the way up until there's nothing left, no parents left. Well, in this case we want to catch it at the form level. So let's just save that and go in, and you see all I have to do is put in the focus and it's suddenly there. All right. Very simple, straightforward. Does what we want. So let's do a little bit of review here and figure out what we were doing last time. Please fill out this field, ABC, and we had to fill it out with more than at least 5 characters. And then we have to fill out this field. There we are. And then we have to check that, and we have to have a value of at least 5. It was between 5 and 100. And now we submit, and we get our first server error. We have a phone is required. Okay, phone is required. Well, we can use telephone down here. So let's give that a name. Phone. And let's put all our required stuff in here. Come on, there it is. Okay, placeholder. Required. And class, give the class so that we get a nice little asterisk on the label. And good, there we are. We've now done everything we can to tell the user that this is a required field. So let's put in a value, there we go, and submit. Apparently 555 was not a valid phone number. We need a format, a certain specific format. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to capture that particular format on the client side? Well, we have got something called a pattern. Pattern is a regular expression, And regular expressions can be, well, a whole topic onto themselves. I'll just keep it real simple. What I've done is I've said, give me /d is a single digit. So give me 3 single digits, followed by a dash, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 single digits. There we go. So now the moment I save that, you'll notice it turned red because 555 doesn't match that pattern of 3-4 single digits. Okay. So now I've put in some data. Let's see what we get. Please match the requested format. We see one little problem here. We haven't told our user what the requested format is. So let's go up into our placeholder here and we can say format -1234, and there we go. We've now told them what the format is that we want. But you see, the problem with using placeholder is the moment you start putting in data, you're no longer, that information's hidden. So what we can do is we can say put in an input event, and we can go $event dot target, that's our tag, and we can say set custom validity. Okay, now this function gives us a custom error message, something that will match that pattern that we had that was wrong. What we have to feed past this is either an error message, or if there's an error, or nothing if there's no error. So we have to figure out if there's an error first. And we do that. There we go. Now we've got the tag and validity, and we have a built-in pattern mismatch. Now this is a built-in Boolean field. If our value 555 does not match this regular expression in the pattern, then we've got a mismatch and we have to send in an error message. So that error message will be format 555-1234, else we'll pass in just an empty string. Okay, so let's see what happens now. There we are. It's now telling us what the format should be. And we're good. Okay, well, we're moving on, and wow, it looks like the server has told us that we're good on everything. We don't need to. It likes the data we've given it. So have we done everything we need to? Well, not quite yet. Let's take a look at this next field. This, we've put in all the required fields. These radio buttons are optional, as is this select box. There's one little issue here. Do you notice? How do I deselect a value? Once I selected a value in here, it's selected. I can't stop that selection from happening anymore. Well, let's go down to select from a list, because that's where those radio buttons are. And we want to deselect that value. We can do that with a button event. Let's make sure that that is an event. If we don't put that type in, it would become a submit button, and we want to prevent that. So clear selection, that's what we want to do with this button, and there we are, it's shown up, but we doesn't do anything yet. So let's give it a event at click event. Good. And what we're doing is we're storing things in selected day. So what we want to do is we want to clear the value out of selected day. So we just set it equal to nothing. So let's see if that works. Look at that. There, we've given the user the ability to clear out that selection, that optional selection. Well, I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm just going to show that value conditionally, and we'll do that by saying selected day length. Now, if selected day has any value that is longer than 0, then that button will show up. Otherwise, it will be completely hidden. Oh. And we're going to have to do a page refresh here to get that to work properly. There we are. It's shown up and hidden again. Shown up and hidden. So that's how we deal with optional. It's valid either way as far as the server is concerned, but we're giving the user that extra little ability to actually give good data and what they want. Okay, well, now we could go on to our next error, but you see we're going to have to keep filling out these fields over and over again. So I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat here. Well, not a cheat, just make our lives easier. I'm going to put in valid values here. So now you see all that's good values, and we're not going to have to deal with that inputting them all the time. Okay, so here we are. We're selecting inputting valid data, but is there more to do? Well, let's see. The last error that the server was talking about was the phone format. All right, but there's more code after that. You see, it's looking for something about days of week. Days of week. All right, so that is a multiple. Days is plural. So let's hide select from list and go into select multiple from list. And we can do under the select tag here, we go set the name equal to days of week. All right, there we go, and we'll select a day and try and submit it, and let's see what we get. Days of week, square brackets, use a square bracket. Now this is really a technical issue error. The server would like the square brackets there just to let it know that this is an array of values. More than one, multiple values are coming in. All right, so now when we submit it, there we go. We got 2 days of week values going in. All right, so have we got it all done now? Let's go back into the server and check. Well, there is another error message here called select either weekdays or weekends. Interesting. We haven't seen that error message come up yet. So let's try doing something that's both weekdays, Monday to Friday, and weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And we get our error message. All right. So we want to capture this message. Now I'm going to, how do we capture this message? Well, the browser defines a whole lot of error messages, and I'm just going to show them to you here. Bad input, pattern mismatch, which we've already dealt with, range overflow and underflow, step, too long, too short, type. We're going to be dealing with the custom error, which we've already done, but this is even more custom than normal because we have to define what is true and false. Why is this valid, not valid? All right, so how are we going to do that? Well, how about we watch what's going on here with the selected days variable. All right, so up here, we can start watching what's going on. Watch, and you notice as I put in the word watch, our editor added the import watch from Vue. So thank you very much, editor. So we're watching selected days, and now we've got a function. We'll just use an arrow function, and this is our new value, old value, and on cleanup event. But all we really need is the new value. So new value And there we go. All right. Now I'm going to copy and paste a little bit of logic in here because it takes a little bit of business logic at this point. And I'll explain that business logic now. What we're doing is we're assigning a Boolean value. Here, our days invalid. And we decide that they're invalid by looking at the new value and saying, does it have a weekend in it, Saturday and Sunday? Does it also have a weekday in it, Monday to Friday? If it has that both, then we're in an invalid situation. Well, great. Well, we have to define our days invalid here. So let's do that. And it's a reference. And we'll say false by default. Okay, so that's a great start. But we're not, now that we've defined this, we have to actually use it. Now, how are we going to use it? Well, let's use it first on this select box. Well, we're going to set the custom error on the select box. So we do set custom validity, and we know we want to do it according to this variable, this Boolean that we've just defined. And if it's invalid, then we want the message, and we'll just grab the message from here. There we go. Select weekdays or weekends, or nothing. Now this is not quite it. We have to link this set function call or method call to the actual field down here, the actual select field. So how are we going to do that? We do that using a attribute, reference attribute. So select days equals ref null. Okay, so we've now got something called select days, and this is going to be for our actual tag, select tag. But it has, how do we link that to our select tag? Well, let's go down to our select tag and define a ref equals select days. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Now the browser, or a Vue I should say, automatically links this select tag with this reference up here. And so let's try it. There we go. You see? It's now got the orange to say it's invalid, and if I try and submit, select either weekdays or weekends. Great. We have got our select working just fine. So now that our select works, let's see about making our checkbox work and give us information on what's going on with the checkboxes. Well, for checkboxes, we can go up, and since it's a group, we should have this red box showing up around the whole group, and that group is a fieldset group. So we can say class, and this is going to be we're going to bind this to a variable. So this class is going to be a conditional class. Sometimes it'll be there and sometimes it won't. So this is going to be called group warning. All right. And it will be there if our our days, come on, load it up. I don't have to type it all out. Our days invalid. There we go. Okay. And here, I should put that in quotes. Good. All right. So I have to define a group warning down here, and that group warning is the same as what we've got down here. And put a dot in front of it. Alright, oh, there we go. It automatically showed up and it disappears. Yay! We've done it. Okay. Now again, we have to tell the user what's going on. Why have we told it in red? So let's do that. Let's tell the user why we're doing this in red. Aside, and then, well, let's go back over to the server and get this error message again. It's good old error message. And there we go. All right, now we could leave that there just by default. I mean, there's nothing wrong with leaving it there, but we can also hide it until it's needed. So we go v show, and that'll conditionally show it up. It's always there, but it's sometimes hidden. And we can say are days invalid. There we are. Now it'll only show up if the days are invalid. Now let me do a refresh there on that. There we go. When it's invalid, it shows up. Great. Okay, there's one other little part that we should get here. Because we're not setting a setCustomValidity message for the checkboxes, it is possible for this two checkboxes to get submitted to the server. Well, it's not possible right now because it's being caught by this select box, but if the select box weren't here, it would go through. So we have to go up here to the onSubmit function, and we just say if are days invalid, return. There we go. So that prevents that from happening now. All right, well, we have got it now. Okay, come on. Is there something wrong with the submission? Why is it not submitting? Oh, have I done something there? Oh, I've done something there. Oh, I did do something there. I forgot to put in dot value. All right. Okay, now it's working. Little things will trip you up quite easily. So, there we go. That is form validation. And form validation is a very good thing to do for all forms because it saves on server having to check errors. It helps the user with data input. Network traffic becomes less common, or unnecessary network traffic is prevented. And it's something you should really do on all forms. I'll be putting this code up on GitHub for anyone to play and work with, however you want to do that. And thank you for watching part 7 of our Vue 3 JavaScript framework and its use in building web forms. Goodbye for now.